Well, today's little trio is going to be coffee. Now, I'm so sure I've done this before, but I don't think I have. I suppose we'll find out, won't we? This may or may not be a video. I think it is. Anyway, what am I waffling on about? Coffee can come in all sorts of different shapes and sizes in fragrance. It can be quite dark, it can be quite bitter. It can be obviously like a spicy Turkish coffee or something like that. Personally, I'm not a coffee drinker at all, but in fragrance I don't mind it actually. Weirdly, it's an interesting note, isn't it? And it can add a kind of coziness, a warmth. It's even that kind of milky, foamy stuff. Not like that rancid stuff you actually get in the shops, which is 90% sugar, with a kind of whisper of coffee and pump full of cream and and of course you can buy them in lots of tax avoiding shops, because apparently any American business doesn't really have to pay tax in the UK. If you're listening, set yourself up a business here. You can rip us off. Anyway, I don't know, I'm in a grumpy mood today. So yeah, coffee. Let's get started. First is the indie. This is fairly easy for me for once actually. It's from One Way Bridge, a New Zealand based brand with a perfumer, Elise, who kind of does everything herself. And this one is just a magnificent coffee. This is Blackstrap Betty. Now this is a kind of dark coffee. There's a few spices in there, a few like tiny hints. It's not about that. It's actually more about this black coffee and molasses, like proper dark treacle, and that runs through it, giving it this kind of sultry kind of feeling. But we know molasses is it has that slight burnt edge to it, and it's thick. It's like black gold in my head, like tar, isn't it? With this lovely sweetness, and the coffee works magnificently with it. There are other things in this, obviously, like I say, a bit of spice, a bit of musk, but it's primarily that's what it's about. And it dries down to be kind of maybe even a little bit powdery, and the kind of proper espresso coffee mixing with that molasses. Is there some sort of milk in this? There is a hint of a lactonic note, but that more kind of smooths it out and makes it. It's not a milky coffee, and it's not milky. It kind of gives it this kind of smooth feel, and like I say, the spices, maybe the hint of something a little aromatic, but it's not like one of them you smelled before. Like I say, it's molasses with a kind of coffee edge. Beautiful. That's Blackstrap Betty from One Way Bridge Perfumes. Now the niche, and this is why I think I've done it before, is Intoxicated from Killian. Now this is another wonderful coffee fragrance, though perhaps eventually not really about the coffee. Now a lot of people say they can't smell the coffee in this. Well, we'll come to that. So it opens with a kind of beautiful, to me, people say they get a lot of cardamom. I get a lot of nutmeg. Quite a big harsh blast of nutmeg actually, with hints of cardamom. Now it's 6 and 2, we get what we get. Maybe I'm a bit more sensitive to the nutmeg than the cardamom. And then obviously you get like a nice pleasant black coffee coming, and then you do get, it's kind of like not quite a mocha. It's not quite as chocolatey as that, but that kind of rich dark chocolatiness comes through with the spices, and it's quite magnificent, quite rich, quite again smooth. Oh God, this bloody river warming. It's just an enjoyable one. And now I've never been to Turkey, so I've never really had a Turkish coffee. I think I've had like a in one of them aforementioned horrific coffee shops. I've probably had a version of it. But this, with its chocolatiness, is very smooth and very cosy and very warming. Kind of very fitting to this time of year. Now to me, again, people don't really get the coffee in this, and I've always thought this. I think that's because they're coffee drinkers. And for me, I can always kind of smell the coffee. So it's milky without being milky, if you get what I mean. Maybe a bit of vanilla, something in there. And warming and lovely. And dries down with the musky spiciness. And that kind of maybe more mockery, rich chocolate. That's Intoxicated from Killing. And finally, the designer. Is it indie? Is it designer? Is it niche? It's one of them brands that kind of, yeah, could be whatever I decide it to be. It's Lush, and that's coffee cardamom. I'll put the name up because I always get this the wrong way round. Now this, as the name suggests, is coffee with cardamom in it, and it's very different to Intoxicated actually. This is done in that Lush style. It's quite brash. It's not as smooth. That's not to say it's not lovely, but it's kind of like a proper like shot of espresso with the spices like sprinkled over it. There is that kind of Lush thickness. You know what I mean when you smell a Lush thing. It's got a kind of thick kind of feel to it. And it's just lovely. It's quite simple actually. I think there might be jasmine in this one as well, just giving it a little bit of a kind of floral sweetness that you don't really pick out the jasmine as you're sniffing, oh that's jasmine. It's more kind of in there, possibly, to me, giving it that kind of little bit of sweetness in there. And that's where the sweetness comes from. It's not a sweet one like Intoxicated was, or obviously Blackstrap Betty with the molasses. It's more a kind of natural coffee, and again it's big, it's spicy, it's extremely warming and extremely pleasant. One of my favourites, and I found that I got this for a good price. Did I? Yes, I did actually. Bought it from a friend, but it's not worth the money it goes for now on eBay. It's nice, it's pleasant. And Lush, like I say, they make other products. They make cosmetic products and bath bombs and stuff, so technically designer, but all these words are completely meaningless, aren't they? Anyway, that's cardamom coffee, or coffee cardamom from Lush. So yeah, just another little brief trio that I may have done before. Don't think so, maybe. Coffee, like I say, it's for any time really, isn't it? All throughout the year. I mean, I'm saying these like ones are quite warming and that. Don't see why you couldn't wear it on a not a sunny, hot, burning, melting day, but any day, because, well, I don't drink coffee particularly, but you know, coffee's every day, isn't it? And unlike tea, it's not that kind of relaxing, ethereal, peaceful kind of zen thing. The coffee has a lovely bitterness and sharpness in there, and I like that edge. I'm not a big fan of bitter scents, but something about coffee, isn't it? It's a nice one. It's almost, as well, a lot of the time, smoky almost. Well, that's how we make coffees, isn't it? It's kind of burnt beans shoved in a thing. So yeah, they're my coffee ones. What about you? What's your favourite? Are you a fan of the spicy, the kind of creamy, the kind of chocolatey mocha kind of coffee? Alright folks, thanks, bye, and probably Merry Christmas, bye.